Hey guys, how you doing? It's Art from Art's Model Trains. So I'm back for part 2 of my York haul. And this one's different. So I wanted to take this and make it a separate video just because I feel like there's a little more to this story for a couple of reasons. So before we dive into this, let me just talk a little bit about this hobby and what I think is really cool is every train we have, whether it's a locomotive, a boxcar, a caboose, has a story behind it. And I was talking to my kids about this last night. You know, we have locomotives that my father handed down to me, his post-war sets, and he will tell stories about how he worked as a altar boy to save up to buy this. Or there'll be a story about a locomotive like the Class A, that it's a 22-year-old Lionmaster engine that I bought new in box from trains.com. Or the caboose my son found at Trains and Thing, that he was so proud of, that he found this relatively inexpensive, awesome looking caboose that works perfectly with our pacemaker boxcars. So, you know, everything has a story, right? And whether it's about how you acquired it or just, you know, something about running it, that, you know, when people come over and they see it, you tell them that story. But we often buy these things secondhand and we have our stories about it, but we don't always have the stories about the previous owners and how they acquired it, or something that happened while they were running it that they love to tell when they owned it. And that's what I broke this video out and made it something separate, because I feel like this is pretty cool, like I said, for a couple of reasons. All right, so let's hit the rewind button. Let's go back to Friday at York, spring 2024. So at about 2:30 Eastern, all the Trains affiliates collected at the Trains booth. And if you guys aren't using Trains affiliates codes or links, please start doing that. You save $10 on a purchase of $50 or more. It's a one-time use code. My code is AMT, but a number of other affiliates are out there and you can search their codes up. All right, so back to the story. We're all collected at the Trains booth and we're getting ready for this picture, but we're missing a few people. So we're all just hanging around talking, and that was awesome. So I found myself standing there next to the tables where RBP's collection that he had sold to Trains was up on display for sale. And I was standing there with my friend Mike from the Datified channel, and I just happened to look over and see a locomotive. And I said, Mike, what's the price on that? Not really thinking much about it, just asking just to know. And he read me the number and I was like, oh, wow. All right, there's that. And then you got to buy the passenger cars that go with it. That's a pretty big number when you add it all up. And he goes, no. This says one of three. That price includes the passenger cars. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And Scott Griggs, the owner of Trains, was standing there. I was like, Scott, is that right? And he was like, yeah, that price is for that whole set. And I was like, wow, okay. Mike, what's the curve radius on that locomotive? Because I only have 054 on my layout. It has to be able to run. And Mike goes, 038. The box actually said 036. We were all like very confused. But anyway, back to the story. So the point is, then I'm standing there staring at this thing, and I got Maddie C in one ear going, buy it, buy it, buy it. I got Caleb from Caleb Easter's Trains videoing me, laughing hysterically. And I got Mike from the Datified channel again, and the other ear going, buy it, you should do this, you should do this.
How's everything? Good.
Hey Chris, how does this run?
You didn't even start on the left.
It's a little wobbly, you know. Oh, hi.
You think he's gonna do it?
I think he's gonna do it.
What'd you buy, Art?
Okay, so, like I said, the General set in the Williams cars, right?
He officially bought it.
All right.
Fun stuff.
And I ended up pulling the trigger and buying it. So what did I get? I picked up the MTH Blue Comet PS3. This is their previous run from 2011, and 4 cars. There's a baggage car, 2 coach cars, and an observation car. And this set is gorgeous. The detail on this is fantastic. Now, being a previous run, it doesn't have whistle smoke, but it does have PS3, and it just runs fantastic. I've been running it basically nonstop since I brought it home yesterday. but it's a gorgeous set and I'm so excited to own it. So back to what I was saying, now I've got a story behind this, but I'm standing there and I start talking to Sid and Sid's like, you know the story behind that, right? And RBP walks over and I go, Chris, what's the story behind this? And he proceeds to tell me about how this was his first MTH premiere set, about how he called his local hobby store when he decided to buy one, went there, looked at a few different sets, this one caught his eye, and he decided to buy this. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So now I not only have my story behind it, I know the previous owner's story behind it. And I can now, when people come over, tell that whole story. And it just adds so much more enjoyment to running something like this when you have so much knowledge about where it came from and how other people have enjoyed it and what it meant to them. And I think, I am super excited about owning this set because it is just gorgeous. And now, like I said to RBP when I texted him later, I just, it means even more to me now that I understand how cool it was for him to acquire it. And I just think that'll be something really cool to tell people whenever I'm running it when they come over. So enough of me rambling. Let's get this thing fired up and running around the layout, and I'll get you guys in close so you can see it. So before we get this thing running, I just want to point out a few things that I just think look amazing on this. The striping, the rivets, the detail on the tender look fantastic. Obviously, all the piping and detail on the engine, but I just love the way these drivers look. They just look amazing, and when all the gears are moving and it runs by, you'll see. Just looks so crisp going down the layout. So let me get my controller, fire this up, and we'll get moving. So I just wanted to point out really quick, interior is completely detailed with figures in these cars, LED lighting, and just love the way they have the blue trucks on here. Pretty standard for MTH Premier, and I just love the way they're detailed. So thanks guys for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.